So part of my past is having, because of a relationship with God like we all have. The Spirit said, do what I've called you to do, and I'll take care of the rest.
When you get into that space of realizing who you really are at a core, which is energy, then you can raise your vibrational frequency, your energy level, up to a level where you can connect and make that divine connection.
Black people in this country have to embrace ownership. We don't own anything. Therefore, all the dollars we get go out to somebody else who owns things.
Look for a miracle in America's mess and make a testimony out of your test.
Kind greetings and welcome to the hospitality of God. This is Triumphant Thursdays with Dr. PJ, and we are so happy that you are joining us tonight. I feel a cough coming on, can't find my water, but we're going to get through it. And I'm going to do a little bit of fanning, because all of a sudden it has gotten warm where I am. But that notwithstanding, it's probably the Holy Spirit up in here, because we are going to have a Holy Spirit-filled guest tonight. And we'll be bringing him on momentarily. But in the meantime, we are going to ask you to text, to call, to email, send smoke signals any way you can to your friends and your family members and your colleagues, and to ask them to join us tonight as we have a conversation titled Keep Moving Toward Recovery. Keep moving toward recovery. We also have with us tonight our beloved chaplain Maureen F. Burns. Going to ask Pastor Sue to bring her up next. And Chaplain Burns is our co-host for our Tuesday evening program. Before she has been able to get her camera to work, she has been with us and making incredible contributions to the conversation. And we appreciate her presence and look forward to her being a part of our time tonight.
Thank you so much, Chaplain PJ.
Yes, ma'am. Our operating scripture, before I bring on our special, very, very special guest to me, he and his wife, comes from Ecclesiastes, the third chapter, and the first verse. And it is, for everything that happens in life, there is a season, a right time for everything under the sun. As you may know, and if you are new, our Thursday evenings together, we do our best to talk about triumphs and victories and overcoming and uplifting and being encouraged to move on. And while our very special guest wife, Reverend Diane, will be on a week from tonight, I'm going to ask Pastor Sue if she will bring forward my dear friend by marriage, Mr. Michael Harold Davis. How are you, Brother Davis?
All right. I hope everybody else is great.
Well, thank you. We hope everybody else is great also. Brother Davis is a Vietnam veteran, has written a book, and the name of it is Nam to Now. Nam to Now. And it's a book of poetry that skips from 1999 to 2020, but reminisces about the Vietnam War that was half a century ago and a lot between. I have yet to read his book, but I'm looking forward to reading his book. We have, however, had conversations, and I would like to ask Brother Davis, Brother Michael, my baby brother by marriage, if he would tell us a little bit about himself. In addition to being an author, I know that you're a bicyclist. Uh, so I know he is married to the Reverend Diane Jackson Davis. And Reverend Diane and I are long standing friends. I guess we have been roommates probably off and on for the past 20 years. And I was blessed to meet Brother Michael at General Synod about 6 years ago, maybe 7 years ago now. And he had his bicycle with him and his wife with him, and it was really a wonderful, wonderful time. So, other than that, Brother Michael, is there something else you would like for us to know about you before we actually get into the question and the conversation about that we briefly talked about the other night? What else would you like to share with us?
I write better than I speak.
Okay.
Uh, and it's pretty amazing to have gone to Vietnam. And I was a grunt. I was a Marine Corps grunt, and we were up at the DMZ, and we went to Laos, and it was a very noisy event. And when I returned to the United States, I was pretty much unfit for stateside duty for the Marine Corps, and then I was kind of unfit for civilian life.
Yes.
I didn't have a network to support me very well, and a lot of us are that way. And I've known so many people like me, and I could go in a lot about different things. The bicycle, in a way, saved my life and saved my mind. Of course, God was in the middle of all of that, and whether I could see or not. But I had some strange behavior, and I would hitchhike to Florida and walk across the interstate. I would hitchhike back. I did the same thing to Detroit, Michigan, and I've only talked about this very thing here in recent months or so, because it's another, it's kind of embarrassing to admit. And it's kind of amazing how the bicycle saved my life and almost killed me, but saved my life and almost killed me, and so on. I've been hit by 2 cars and 2 pickup trucks, and 2 of those were very devastating. I have a titanium shoulder on my right side, and I have a lot of different injuries that I won't go into. And
Okay, now before you go any further, we need to let the community know what DMZ stands for. Now, Chaplain Maureen and I are your fellow veterans, so we know what DMZ stands for. So, how about if you tell the folks that are listening what DMZ?
It's the demilitarized zone. Gosh, was that the 17th parallel? I've got that written somewhere. But in Vietnam, it was one thing. In Korea, it was something else. But the Marine Corps was in what was called I Corps, and they split the war zone up into 4 parts. And the South was 2 Corps, I guess. We didn't talk about the South very much, and I can identify generally someone who's in the Army by where they tell me that they spent their time. But we were up north, right at the DMZ, the demilitarized zone, and it was an invisible line, but right across that line was North Vietnam.
Okay. Very
And
good. Thank
the
you.
area that we were in was it was narrow. If you look at the map of the entirety of Vietnam, and so and it's interesting to have gone through so many map classes that we went through, and I never saw a map in Vietnam. But we all knew that if we got on a helicopter at LZ Stud, or it's also called Vandergrift, and we went west, or we went to a territory that we weren't familiar with, it was probably going to be Laos. So we went to Laos as well as, and the DMZ was, it was mountainous, and toward the coast it was flat, and rice paddies, and the ocean.
Well, we don't want you to talk about anything that may trigger you or upset you. So I'm being very careful about any questions that I may have for you. But let's go back to these after you. Well, I'm sure that there is not a picture that you can paint that Americans would military folks would probably understand. But we can just about surmise that it was pretty ugly. How did you maintain your relationship with God while serving?
It's said that there aren't many atheists in a foxhole,
I've heard that.
and that's especially true. And when I think of this exact quote, I go back to Mutter's Ridge, which was a mountain, and you expect Tarzan or something to be coming through the woods or something. Sometimes there's so much noise, and you think that banana trees are moving towards you, or whatever, and you have to conduct yourself as if your family.
Yes.
You have to conduct yourself as if your family is watching you.
Okay.
Because other people are dependent on you.
Sure. You knew God was watching you. Were you much of a godly man before you went in, or did you find God after you went in, or did you know of God and decided that there was no God while you were in? How did that work out for you?
I have to say that I was playing the church game maybe before I went to Vietnam, and
Okay.
I think I was more of a lustful person.
Okay.
But after being in Vietnam in a war zone, and speaking to God there, no matter what else may occur, you acquire a debt
Yes.
to God.
Okay.
I can't remember when I haven't had a debt. I haven't been a good person, or such a moral person, or so on and so on. I've had a lot of faults. I've tried to be a better person, and I've always relied on God. I went from church to church when I got back, and I found too much fault. And uh, through my travels, right and wrong, and a lot of wrong, I kept searching churches all along the way, and uh, I've been disappointed. Uh,
Uh-huh.
and at this point, I can trust my preacher, and that would be Reverend Diane Griffin Jackson Davis, and I love my church, and I try to be a good servant and deacon to my church.
Yes, I hear you're a deacon these days. You think one of these days it'll be Reverend and Reverend?
I have a lot of things to say, but um, again, it's probably easier for me to write or read what I write. Uh, I would have to have an audience that wants to hear what I have to say. I do have a lot to say. No, I do, and I just don't see an audience right away.
Michael, did you feel church burn, what they call church burn, or did you feel unwelcomed when you came back as a Vietnam vet by the church?
Oh, I was greatly unwanted, unloved. Sure, yeah, it was widespread. Uh, it's interesting. I've had long hair and a beard since Vietnam, pretty much, and it's been a burden. A lot of people. I there have been uh, and there's been at least one very valid attempt on my life. Uh, I've been denied jobs, different things. And some of it has been with this long hair. And I tell you, when you're cycling, when you're racing, when you're competing against other people, there is nobody with 100 people in a race sometimes or whatever. Nobody wants to get dropped by a guy with a beard. Nobody. So it hasn't worked in my favor to have a beard. It's just that I haven't been able to cut it off because I had to be grounded in the truth. And what I didn't see in my government and a lot of people from that era, uh, and we have that today, but and it goes back and forth with visibility, but we have that still today. Things are not what they appear. I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Okay, Chaplain Maureen, did you have something else that you wanted to say?
Well, I did want to let you know, Michael, that my brother Jack, who is 75, also served in Vietnam as a Marine grunt. And then when he came back stateside, they sent him over to Cuba. And he was in Cuba until he
One time.
finished out his term. And he has severe PTSD and does a lot of alienating. He lives in a double wide trailer and he likes to just stay at home most of the time and not deal with people. Have you had experiences with PTSD?
Oh, absolutely. I've had it since I got out of Vietnam. I guess I had it while I was in Vietnam. But when you get back from something like that, and you come back to the world, this is the world. I can't wait to get back to the world. This is the world. What we were in was not the world. And when you get back, you want to be normal, and you're not normal. And I tried to hide uh, my uniqueness, and I guess sometimes I still do. But what is amazing is how the bicycle brought me through so much. Yeah, I had long hair and a beard. Um I didn't fit in. I was a loner. I rode hundreds of uh, miles, maybe a week, quite often. I've ridden hundreds of thousands of miles in my life. And it's a lonely business. It's very painful. And then to be able to open up my own bicycle shop, that was a miracle of society. And I kept on being that miracle. And it's interesting to have PTSD and try to conceal it. Meanwhile, other people are calling you grumpy or something of that nature. And of course, I was grumpy.
Michael, did you
Grumpy now.
relate your bicycling cross country and going around to like Forrest Gump doing his running in the movie?
Yes. Early on, without the thing about undertaking cycling too, you see, and being a Vietnam veteran, I couldn't believe anything that anybody was saying, even about cycling, about diet, about nutrition, about technique. I had no close coach to get me through things, so I had to learn things over and over again. I had to learn the very hard way.
Michael, Brother Michael, Deacon Michael, your wife has sent you the message by way of Pastor Sue that you are doing great. Can you see that message? You're doing great, and you are. You're easing up, and we appreciate what you are sharing with us. It's extremely important. And you are important, and we want you to know that you are not alone. Both Chaplain Maureen and I have PTSD, some of which I don't talk about very often, not because I am ashamed, and I don't want you to be ashamed either, but it's just something that unless I'm talking with another veteran, I don't bring it up. And I will say that they have diagnosed me with paranoid schizophrenia and with suicide ideation and on the mental
And
health
some of
side.
that was false, and some of it could be false. Like I was diagnosed with schizophrenia too because PTSD didn't catch on yet. It wasn't
Right.
revealed.
Right. And there are times still when I'm depressed, not nearly as depressed as I used to be by a long shot. Would you, do you feel, go ahead, Chaplain Maureen.
Michael, with my PTSD, I heard you say earlier in the show, I struggle with anger issues, and being angry and being a chaplain don't exactly go together.
Right.
And so that has been problematic for me and something that I constantly have to work on. Did you find yourself angry a lot?
Yeah, there's so much injustice, but when there was an attempt on my life, uh, I didn't really go through the blaming or getting back or anything like that because I wanted God to heal me, and I think I'm going to be healed on the other side because my back still hurts, my ribs my spinal column was bowed and so on. But I was able to keep riding my bicycle, and it took me to France. It took me to Canada. Uh, it, it a friend of mine described us, and he was a much better cyclist, as being in the top 2% of cycling bicyclists. But I don't know what that means, and he's never explained that. He was much better than I am and won state championships. I usually won a race or a century or something when thousands of people didn't show up. But oh gosh. I'm
Brother
just,
Michael,
Michael, what made you decide to go with poetry and prose?
it really, the first poem that I believe that I wrote was about cycling, and that would have been in about 1999. Now, before then, and I just finished that about 2 days ago. I was trying to write a poem about my father and his passing away, or the way that I felt after my dad died. And honestly, I took that back up about 2 days ago and finished that. But tragedy, and I've coined the term a loneliness, not just loneliness, but a loneliness. Uh, it Words, my poetry really writes itself, and I have a poem to that states that, and that's just what they do. They write themselves, and I have no idea pretty much how, but my poetry does run a lot through cycling, bicycling. Uh, Maybe there's not so much about Vietnam, but I have about a dozen that I could read right now. But it goes into spirituality, transcending church. I have a lot that are about church, uh, politics, and I mostly speak about non-politics. And to give you an idea, and I don't want to turn too many people off, but I don't believe there is anyone who is listening tonight who know how many people uh, we, as in my country and our armed forces, killed in Vietnam. Now, sometimes I tell people, and then they may hold on to that figure and maybe they don't. Does anyone here tonight know how many we killed in Vietnam?
okay, now before you tell us that, your wife sent us a question. I don't know if Pastor Sue can put it back up or not. Uh, on the screen.
I know what it said. It
I
said,
no.
Michael, how many
I want to put it back up.
miles have
Hold
you?
it, hold it. I wanted the community to see that beautiful picture of you and your wife. Can you see it?
Uh, I see it.
Okay. Will you answer the question?
Uh, how many places and miles would Michael say he's ridden over the past 40 years?
Okay, now I want you to hold the question because it's time for our break. And when we come back, we want to explore that question. You want to tell us how many people were killed in Vietnam, and we would love to hear a couple of your poems. So while we're on break, if you could identify a couple of poems to share with us, we would appreciate it. Okay? Okay, Pastor Sue.
All right, it is time for, all right. We're so appreciative of those of you who are watching us tonight. We are so grateful for Deacon Michael Davis being on and sharing his story and sharing his testimony. And so we're going to get through these announcements so that we can get right back to hearing all about it. Because I don't know about you, but I want to hear a poem or two from Michael Davis tonight. So thank you again, those of you who are watching Triumphant Thursdays with Dr. PJ Anderson. We want to invite you to join us on Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you are not watching on our Facebook pages, we want to make sure that you like and that you follow. So on Facebook, we are on SFG Without Walls and at Chaplain PJ. On Twitter and YouTube, we are at Dr. PJ Anderson. And there's someone watching from Cara Solutions. So someone's on my page. So welcome, whoever's watching on the Cara YouTube. We're grateful that you are here. Please join us on Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you are a part of our Tuesday night programming, we know that we broadcast the National Veteran Support Group from TFAM. It's called The Veteran Among Us, LGBTQIA Veterans Plus. And Chaplain Mo and Dr. PJ, Chaplain PJ, are both co-moderators of that broadcast. If you are a veteran, you identify as LGBTQIA, or you are allied, we want to invite you to like the page and to join the group on Facebook. So the page is at TFAM Veterans, and the group is TFAM Veterans Group. Chaplain Maureen Burns has an organization called Transformations Possible. She is an advanced law of attraction practitioner and has life coaching available. If you're interested in some life coaching, you can reach out to Chaplain Maureen at transformationspossible@gmail.com, or you can give her a phone call at 808-264-6252. On Wednesday nights, we want you to join us over at Bishop Yvette Flunder's page and at Beyond the Gatekeepers page on Facebook, and also on Twitter and on YouTube at Beyond the Gatekeepers for lively discussion. If you have never seen Beyond the Gatekeepers, I invite you to please join us. Please join us again Wednesday nights, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time and 5 o'clock Pacific. Kara Solutions focus on your passion. Let Kara handle the rest. I offer remote production and video conferencing administration and tech support. Let Kara do the heavy lifting so that you can focus on your event. An example of remote production is what you're watching tonight. Triumphant Thursdays by Dr. PJ Anderson is remote produced by Kara Solutions. And so part of that is custom branding, show development, and also training. And so if you would like more information on a wide range of services, you can visit my website at www.kara-solutions.com. And if you have an idea for a broadcast or a podcast, you're not sure how to get started, I'm a great conversation partner. And so you can send me an email at sue@kara-solutions.com today for a free consultation. There are advertising and sponsorship opportunities available at Triumphant Thursdays with Dr. PJ Anderson. There are 3 ways that you can advertise or sponsor. The first is via an info listing or a banner. This is an example of a banner, and this holds up to 200 characters. And right here, we will promote your service, your ministry, your organization during our announcements portion. And that's at $15 per week. The second way is via a static overlay or a flyer ad or a promo graphic, if you will. That's what you're looking at on the screen right now. It comes up the entire screen. Again, you put something up that has all of the information about your service, your ministry, your organization, something that you provide. And that's at $25 per week. And the third way is via a video ad at $40 a week. And here's an example of a video ad. Once again, that's an example of a video ad. And so if you need a promo graphic or a video ad created, you can also reach out to me at sue@kara-solutions. If you desire just to sow a seed, we invite you to sow a seed into this ministry. If you enjoy our broadcasts every week, we invite you to donate so that we can keep bringing this content to you. And there are two ways that you can assist us. One is via Cash App at $ Triumphant Thursdays, or a paper check. We'll take a paper check too. You could send a paper check to Space for Grace Without Walls, UCC, P.O. Box 23173, Lansing, Michigan 48909. That is it for our announcements. And so now we are excited to get back to the second half of the show with our guest, Michael Davis.
Welcome back. You're going to hear a lot of victories in Deacon Michael Davis, from Deacon Michael Davis, my baby brother by marriage. I'm wondering, Pastor Sue, if you can show any of the comments that are made in the comments, if you can put those front and center also, or do I need to read them off, or how should that work? We want you to know, Brother Michael, that there are several people saying a lot of good things about you.
I can just put them up. I don't know if you want any specific ones up. Let me see, because they were going up as you were speaking. Let me go all the way up to the beginning. So this is one from Andrew Stephen Reddish Sr. And that's specifically to you. Andrew wanted you to know that he is here supporting you. Also, Mark Brackett wanted you to know that he is here supporting you. Elizabeth Semple is glad to be here. We're glad to have you, Elizabeth. Thank you for coming. Another one from Andrew, just encouraging you to speak your story. And of course, your wife is sending hugs and love to you and saying that you look so handsome, which you do. Let's see, what else do we have? Let's see, from L. Little. So that was a comment made during the conversation earlier. There's another one from Mark Brackett, just talking about how great you are in the cycling community and that you are a hero to many. Isn't it wonderful to have such a supportive community and such a supportive village around you? Let's see, I'm going to put up some more. Listen, your village is here, Michael. Your village is here, just loving you so much. Let's see. Oh, Stefan wanted to say that Steve-O's in the house.
My little boy.
And also Karen Thomas. Yes, your village is here. Michael Bob says Michael is the real deal.
Stentani was the real deal. I finished twice in front of him. Once he crashed, and once he went off course and joined another bike ride. But I want to say thank you to my friends here. I don't know if I've got so many friends, but I sure have the quality.
Well, Mark says you're mean on a bike.
He has beat me up like Stentani and so many others. They have beat me up and thrown me to the side of the road in a ditch many times.
Now, why would they do that? Is this a brother thing, or?
It's a brother thing. They can't help it.
Okay. Did they also serve with you in Vietnam?
No, they had better sense.
I see. I see. Are you ready to tell us how many were killed in Vietnam?
I will. Let me answer my wife's question, maybe. And again, I said I've ridden hundreds of thousands of miles, and some of that has been with a friend, Woody Graham from Columbia, South Carolina. And there's a trophy named after him in Canada because he won the trophy so many times for mileage. But hundreds of thousands of miles. Now, Woody has written down every mile of his. But I'm going to get back to Vietnam and how many people we've killed there. And I want, if I can, I'll just go right into reading a poem. I don't know how much time we have. I can get in several poems. I can get in a longer tearjerker if possible. But I'd like to go into one about bones on Mother's Ridge. And
Okay.
this is for a Vietnamese soldier. And
You got 10 minutes. 10 minutes, all yours.
I'll try to do some as fast as I can. We lost about 59,000 people in Vietnam. That's Americans. In the Vietnam arena of South Vietnam or Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos, we killed almost 5 million people.
My Lord.
In Korea, we killed about the same. And we've killed 25 million people since World War II. I'm going to go right on into a tribute to a Vietnamese soldier that I never knew. To bones on Mother's Ridge. Over Mother's Ridge roll some rolling stones, but some of these were turned to bones. On Mother's Ridge, he was killed one day, but it took months for him to wither away. He was a dedicated soldier, whether he knew it or not. He was humping the ridge when he was shot. But I salute you, Bones. Whose mother's son are you? And if she knew the truth, what would she do? How long will she sit by her garden gate for the beautiful sun? How long will she wait? The mother will live. Somehow she'll go on, not knowing her son remains on Mother's Ridge alone. Will you ever be returned for your mother to hold? When will your lonely, incredible story be told? And so the Marine sniper won that day. Then the scavengers had their way. What the vultures didn't take, the other vultures took. The first to go were your boyish looks. Of course there's no weapon now that you're dead. There's not a hat upon your head. There's no belt. There are no shoes. It's all too evident. You've paid your dues. Why, I remember when your shirt was a deeper, darker green, but that was still way after you were picked clean. No belt, no hat, no pack, no AK-47. But you really can't take this crap to heaven. No smokes, no food, no photo, no gum, no letters, no ammo. So much time in life has passed, and here you are still in this grass. All that have trod here in all of this time, and many won't have a clue of the events of this rhyme. But silently you've lain here, not giving a hint of what you've seen since you've been spent. Why just you, Mr. Bones? The trail here runs through open ground, and that is the bad luck that you found. Did you see it coming? Was a sniper your demise? Can I reconstruct the scene through your hollowed eyes? But I've seen you often. You've never said a word. You looked and listened, never saw, never heard. Your friends left you here for months on end. It's interesting the message a dead body can send. No one's been here, especially your friends, and it's the best propaganda to achieve a strategic, better end. You've been the great warrior. You've done your job so well. For months and months, you would never tell. On Mother's Ridge, you stood pretty tall. You died for your country. You gave your all. And then your army used you so well. They left you here. No truths to tell. And if the Marines should hump your way, you'll be here with nothing to say. Bones gave his country his very last breath. But Bones was a good soldier even after his death. Will he be awarded a medal? Or will it callously be said he was just lying down on the job after he was dead? And so I toast to you, Bones, a young man I never knew. And lying down on the job is what we sometimes do. Sometimes vets see eye to eye. Sometimes they don't. There's a lot of propaganda that even vets spread. Some things just aren't true. But these two vets walk into a bar. I met a veteran a lot like me. He was awake and could also see. He was older with a kindly face. He whispered in the public place, "What do you think?" As he nodded to the screen. "Do you think it's real?" "No, and I know what you mean. We could speak the truth with our sour notes. Before they take us to the folks wearing white pants and coats, the truth was etched into our bones. We spoke it freely in quiet tones.
Very impactful, Michael.
What did you say, Chaplain Maureen?
Very impactful.
I would agree. Baby brother, did you write? You said you wrote these over the years. Is that correct?
A lot of these were written 2012, 2014, and I can't stop writing. I've written hundreds of poems, and in the last year I may have written 50 or so, and some of them are really good, and I can't find the one that I'm really looking for right now. Let me get to Vietnam here. I'm sorry.
No, you don't have to be sorry, sweetheart. We are waiting with bated breath, or at least I am. And while you're
I've got it.
okay.
I've got some other short ones, and I've got some that are incredibly long, so I'm trying to maybe get some of the very best out of the way. This is something that goes through my head every day, and I tried to paint a picture of it, and it hangs on the stairway going down the stairs, but I'll never be able to, I can't paint, and I'll never be able to get that scene as it goes through my head every day of my life.
Okay.
But I remember when I died. I remember that day, 2 Vietnamese children were taken away. We didn't find the mine. It was made of plastic parts. It was made perfectly for taking and breaking hearts. It was a dusty Vietnamese road when 2 small lives were taken. Sometimes a man can't get back together because of how he's been shaken. The sound of a mine is so profound that in that moment, nothing will matter. This shot will throw you to the ground or make the bravest scatter. These children walked with us. They played as children played. But things don't last, now do they? Yeah, I remember the day. It's funny how we lose a piece here and there, and yet how suddenly it's more than a soul could bear. No pause, no cause, no time for crying, no others dying. Set up a perimeter, medic over here. I guess that's all. Clear. Nothing's clear. Atoms are rearranged as black letters on white paper. Souls ascend as souls are etched with life as but a vapor. As quickly as a snapping of fingers, while smoke and death still lingered. I remember when Marines cried. Each one turned away and cried in his own way. Yeah, I remember the day I died. So I became another man, but I didn't get a clean slate. I didn't get a clean slate. It wasn't like I applied to be a man folks loved hate. So slowly I began to die again. I tried to work myself to death, but I wasn't dying fast enough. I wanted to hasten that dying breath. I built my own gallows. I was a judge and a jury. I tried myself in absentia and punished myself with fury. I assumed that my sacrifice would earn me a better part, but I would never see the blow that would tear my heart apart. Yeah, I remember the day I died. I remember folks who have lied, preachers, cops, lawyers, judges, ex-wives, in-laws, friends, and employers. And all I've had is my word. But there was once a heart is just a hole, all else is given away, and still it comes from my soul. Yes, I remember when I died. I remember the final dose, time consuming really. I remember the alienation the most. Thank you, Lord, for my bread, the healing wounds on heart and head, the souls I passed on my way down, the kindred spirits that still come around. Yes, I'm tired. I'm ready to quit. Don't lighten my load until you see fit. Don't ease the burden in my head, perhaps just make me stronger instead. Meanwhile, I'll check this mirror of mine and see if I can ever find all these men I used to be before I was whittled down to me. Maybe there will be a turning of the tide, and I'll not feel so sick inside. And I'll not remember the tears I've cried. And I'll not remember when I died. It's not that bad. I stumbled into a diner and sat right next to me. I looked myself right in the eye, though I could hardly see. I appeared as though I spent my life with my back against the wall. I appeared to be the saddest man that never lived at all. I told myself it couldn't be as woeful as it appears. Then I had some grits and eggs, salted with my tears. Foxhole for one, please. A canteen of your dirtiest water, some halazone tablets, and memories of my daughter. I'll have the World War II rations, pork and has-beens, a small can of cheese, a can of peaches for dessert with dry crackers, if you please. I'll have the instant coffee just to help me stay awake. I'll spread some jelly on the crackers and pretend it's a birthday cake. I think today started months ago, and tomorrow will be another hike. Tonight we can't light our cigarettes, but I'll pray for a lucky strike. Last watch. I was a teenage soldier. I never had what it took. I put my trust in the Supreme and encouraging words from his book. The New Testament was carried in the left pocket to catch a round or shrapnel from a rocket. I never prayed for justice. As a child, I would never behave. Perhaps this is just cause to only pray to be brave. I envisioned mom's potato salad and cold tea inside the fridge as I bathed for my helmet and prayed on Mutter's Ridge. And a pagoda backed up to the river. We had nowhere to go, and so I prayed with the 9th Marines outside the village of Camlo. We once defended a tiny piece of mountainous ground in Laos as if our families were there, and it was our father's house. But I never prayed for justice. I assumed my path would find its way. At the end of my song, is it wrong for only justice to pray? It seems I have the last watch at the crack of dawn, as the crack of dawn breaks. I pray that I'll be brave. I hope I can give whatever it takes. This is a bit long here. I hope nobody goes to sleep. Hell of Angels, come to end.
How long is long, Brother Michael?
Let me try it and see how we do.
Very well. Can we make this the last one?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Please proceed.
Did you ever dig in at Contien? It's where Highway 1 and the world both end. It's not just the stars that light up at night. Every night is the 4th of July that light up the sky. Every night is the 4th of July. Or the ramparts we watch the rockets' red glare, then sleep in muddy trenches in our green underwear. And often I watch till the dawn's early light, this barrage of anti-aircraft guns and a distant firefight. Many soldiers then stood in this vacuous place and stared back at Satan right in the fire from his face. You can feel and smell the heat of the fire and brimstone, and there is no sin for which you would not atone. They call it the Hill of Angels. It's a bald spot of 500 feet where all the good soldiers and bad explosives come to meet. Cantien, Giolin, each has its own coffin, and rockets from Hanoi where the nails coming in. Long before the Vietnamese would claim it, long before and long after, Marines would rename it. It's easy to shoot. The fish, but it's our turn in the barrel. And now it rolls off the tongue as though it were a Christmas carol. But we're just some bait to draw the other side offside. Some of us play in the open arena while the other team hides. The Hill of Angels is a tormented host where many a soldier has given up the ghost. Rockets pummeled every square inch. There's not a firm place to stand. If we were just here for target practice, I'd gladly give up this land. It rains all day, it rockets all night, and it's too muddy or dusty to have a fight. And the North just fires from memory now, and we've had more rockets than God should allow. But on a clear night, I can see those northern lights of anti-aircraft guns in distant firefights. And I know the hell doesn't end in Cantien or Giolin, but reaches up to Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh. 100 bombs are with each B-52. Imagine, if you can, the B-52 after you. But these are the sights from the 17th parallel, where at the end of the road waits oblivion, hell. Souls are taken as bodies and in minds. Widows and orphans are made as the meat grinder grinds. The hell doesn't end in Cantien, and it's the 4th of July at the world's bitter end. Dig into our coffin at Cantien, and the nails are coming in from Ho Chi Minh. Highway 1 alone can make you pay. Dong Ha Cam Lo, C2 are on the way. But mine sweeps are just the first order of the day. These rutted dirt roads are where evil likes to play. And planted mines have no discrimination between soldiers and a peaceful civilization. Off to the east is Leatherneck Square, and no one ever ventures there without giving death a really good stare. Cantien, Giolin, each one has its own coffin, and rockets from Hanoi with the nails coming in. It was our turn in the barrel before we'd ever find her. And before us, it was called the proverbial meat grinder. Take a little talk on the radio while the NVA listens in. Little else to the end of the world called Cantien. Time to change the mud in my magazines. I wish we had toilet paper in those stinky latrines. Supplies might come in when clear skies come around, perhaps when the rain and rockets die down. But the flip side of that muddy hole, that bloody hole, Cantien, is that dust bowl, that dust hole, that graveyard of bones, Cantien. Agent Orange has killed every green thing. There's not a tree to hang a swing. Besides the scream of passing incoming, there's not even a bird to sing. And the orange dust fills the nose of your boots, and all your clothes fill more sandbags as a hot breeze blows. It was the McNamara line, it was the DMZ, but it was a ride on the river Styx to my friends and me. It was the 17th parallel, and we called it hell. 1,000 rockets a day can really ring your bell. Perpetually these young men into wars of thrust, cake their faces with blood and dust. They'll dig in, perpetually do what they must. And in the end, these young men are the only men that they can trust. And it's where the road and world both end, and young men become old men. And it's only them on whom they can depend, standing up and digging in against hell's wind. Let's smile at the cameras and all say cheese and go to your churches and pray on your knees. But we stood at the Hill of Angels, or Satan's derriere, and to my knowledge, every Marine had the same health care. And it's in Vietnam or the desert of Iraq where a soldier must have each other's back. And it's easy to pick the fools who won't take up the slack. They throw kids into war like unwanted kittens in a sack. But I never dug in at Cantien for HMOs or insurance salesmen to provide the best health care for only wealthier women and men. Let us know if you're in or out and what this America is all about. Because as far as I know, all the leathernecks there from old Saigon to Leatherneck Square. Every Marine got the same health care. We stood up and we dug in and we poked the eye of Ho Chi Minh, and with his endless army stood chin to chin at the Hill of Angels, Cantien. And if it were health care for all, I'd dig in again, but not for the wealth care for y'all or of just businessmen who sell lies and hell for a living, live the lives of luxury without much giving. For if one goes there, we all go there. Let's look Satan in the eye and demand health care. One was as good as another when I stood up and I dug in, and we had the same health care at the Hill of Angels, Cantien.
Amazing. We would like to share with you the 10 comments that have come in while you were reading. We'll do it one at a time. And I want to thank you. I am both now, we're up to 11 comments. I want to thank you. I feel as though I was there with you. Here's the first one from your wife. She is announcing that your book, Nam to Now, expected publication in March. And as soon as we know, we will put the word out. Okay.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Elizabeth.
That sounds like a preacher. Tell it.
She preaches a little bit.
Okay. Who can sleep
after this?
Something to think about.
Thanks, Kim. So many of these people I've ridden so many miles with. Julia and Mark.
Wonderful. Chaplain Maureen, closing remarks?
I'd just like to thank you also for sharing and telling the truth, mostly. You know, a lot of people try to make it sound like it wasn't that much of a problem or an issue, and they don't talk about the Vietnam vets coming home and not being welcomed, you know? So I am so grateful that you decided to start writing poetry to tell the truth.
Thank you.
Pastor Sue?
I just want to say that I find myself incredibly, I consider myself incredibly blessed to have sat behind the scenes to listen to you tonight. Your poetry has touched me so, and has painted such a vivid picture for me as to how it was. You know, you learn about Vietnam in school. I don't know if they're still teaching it in school, but you know, they don't paint the picture as someone who has been there and experienced it and gone through it and made it through it and survived it and still walking with it every day. So I thank you. I thank you for being open and vulnerable and transparent. And I wish God's continued blessings on your life, Michael Davis. God bless you.
You can hear me. If you'll stay with us a few minutes after we close, we certainly would appreciate it. To the listening audience, to the viewing audience, thank you for being with us tonight. Again, we would appreciate your We would appreciate if you would show your appreciation to us by planting a seed, more importantly, by giving at our Cash App Triumphant Thursdays. Cash App $, Cash App $ Triumphant Thursdays. We also want to thank Pastor Sue, who is a seminarian at Chicago Theological Seminary in Chicago, Illinois. She is at the Shepherd's Table at her home church, founded by Bishop-elect Vanessa M. Brown, and the name of the church is Rivers of Living Water Ministries, and it's in New York. And we are also very thankful for our bishop, Yvette A. Flunder, who has taken us, at least Chaplain Maureen and I, directly under her wings, and Pastor Sue by way of Bishop-elect Vanessa M. Brown. And Bishop Yvette A. Flunder is a colleague of ours, as well as including Reverend Diane. And she is the founding pastor of City of Refuge, United Church of Christ, and the founder and prelate of the Fellowship of Affirming Ministries that we affectionately call TFAM. We thank you again. This has been a rich experience for us tonight. And I, along with so many others, are proud of you. They call you Mickey D. And we join your wife in loving you in a different way than she does. We love you as our brother, as my fellow veteran. I often say wherever I go that of my three priorities, which is God, me, and the veteran, it's my priority because our heart beats as one. My fellow veteran, Michael. Yes, sir.
I came upon the name Mickey D writing for a website called Hub Pages. And I eventually left there pretty much, but I still have things up there. So if one were to go to Hub Pages and looking for Mickey D, they would see some of the same repetitious stuff, maybe, or well, a lot more. But then I got on YouTube, and I am the Biking Dude on YouTube. On Facebook, I'm Mickey D, the Biking Dude. Mickey is the first name, D is the second, and the Biking Dude. All the other names were taken on YouTube. So anyway, that's how I arrived at Mickey D, and people started calling me that in some areas.
Thank you for that update. We've been asked to repeat on how people may give. If you'll put that back up again, Pastor Sue. Cash App $ Triumphant Thursdays, all one word, $ TriumphantHursdays. You may also send a paper check to Space for Grace, Without Walls, UCC, Post Office Box 23173, Lansing, Michigan 48909. One more time. Space for Grace, Without Walls, UCC. P.O. Box 23173. Lansing, Lansing, Michigan, MI 48909. Or the Cash App, Triumphant Thursdays, all together. Again, thank you, Brother Deacon, fellow veteran Michael Davis. You are amazing. And we look forward to bragging about and promoting your book. And ladies and gentlemen, we are looking forward to hearing from your wife, Deacon, the Reverend Diane Griffin Jackson Davis, a week from tonight at 8:30. May goodness and mercy follow you all the days of your life. And good night.